Something big is brewing between Washington and Ankara, and this time it's not about NATO or Gaza. It's about Iran and America's growing anger over how some Turkish companies are allegedly helping Tehran dodge the US sanctions. In a bold move, the United States has blacklisted nearly a dozen Turkish companies, accusing them of secretly helping Iran buy sensitive, American-made technology and dual-use goods, the kind that can be used for both civilians and military purposes. Well, the US Department of Commerce dropped the hammer through its Bureau of Industry and Security, adding 9 Turkish firms to what's known as the Entity List. That's basically Washington's economic blacklist. Once that you are on it, you are cut off from doing any business involving US technology. So, what's really going on here? Well, according to the US officials, these companies were acting as middlemen and front organizations, secretly diverting aviation parts, machineries, and industrial tools to Iranian buyers. In simple words, America says that Turkey became Iran's backdoor to the global market. And this isn't just any paperwork or politics, it's about national security. Washington claims that these Turkish networks helped Iran's industries, including those connected to missiles and drone production, the very weapons that Iran has supplied to Russia in the Ukraine war and to militia across the Middle East. Can you imagine that? What a web it is. But by making this move, the Trump administration is sending a loud message to Turkish President Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan that the US will no longer look the other way now. And that's significant because Erdogan's government has been walking a very fine line for months now, trying to maintain trade with Iran even as it remains a NATO ally. Well, Turkey continues to buy Iranian oil through indirect routes and has repeatedly criticized the United States sanction on its regional partners. But Washington patience? Well, Washington seems to be running out of patience, right? Officials say that Turkey's leniency towards Iran is encouraging global sanctions evasion, and it could soon hit Turkey's economy really hard. That's right. And let's not forget here, this isn't the very first time when US has gone after Turkey for helping Iran here. In 2018 also, Turkish banker named Mehmet was sentenced in the US for helping Iran move billions through Turkish banks. Well, that scandal became a diplomatic nightmare between the two nations, and it seems like history might be repeating itself here. Analysts say that these new sanctions show that the United States is now shifting from quiet diplomacy to public confrontation, and it is doing so at a time when Erdogan is already facing major economic pressure at home. Inflation is soaring, the Turkish lira is crashing, and foreign investors are really nervous. Now, by blacklisting Turkish companies, the US isn't just targeting business. It's warning Ankara that its cozy trade with Tehran has crossed a red line. For now, Turkey hasn't officially responded, but sources in Ankara say that officials see this as a politically motivated, arguing that Turkey is being unfairly punished for pursuing an independent foreign policy. But make no mistakes here, the timing of this move is no coincidence. It comes as Iran strengthens its partnership across the Middle East, from Lebanon to Yemen, and as Turkey deepens ties with both Russia and China. So the real question is this, ladies and gentlemen, is this the start of a US-Turkey showdown over Iran? Or will Erdogan once again find a way to balance both the sides?